Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Christy Brower, here all by my lonesome one last time. Katie will be back with us next week, but I couldn't let you go into the weekend without another episode. And honestly, this is one for the books. I titled this episode Bizarre Crime Roundup because, friends, squad, listeners of all kinds, this has been a red letter week for some crazy shit this weekend, last week. So bizarre. So, we're going to start out with this stable genius right here. This is Stephen Metchikoff. Now, you probably remember this case. It actually... it's Mark Stephen Metchikoff, by the way. This happened in July of 2023. And that is when Metchikoff was charged with the stabbing of Claribel Estrella. He murdered her inside of her San Mateo apartment. And he filmed the entire thing. Yeah, awful. Horrible. He was charged with first-degree murder, and he has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Well, in a very strange turn of events, he has made a very bizarre claim. So, last Friday, he was in court for a preliminary hearing. While he was in that hearing, he told the court that he did kill Estrella. But his confession that was apparently Facebook Lived was AI generated. Dude, you just admitted to the judge you did in fact do it. But that somehow the Facebook Live where you confess to doing it is AI generated? Apparently, on the day that Estrella was murdered, some of Metchikoff's friends unwittingly clicked on a Facebook Live that he was doing. It turned out to be an extremely gruesome video. One of them actually called the police because they said she just watched a video of a woman covered in blood and lying on the ground. You know, the prosecutor has said that, you know, Metchikoff felt pride for what he had done, and that's why he Facebook Lived it. But now, as you can imagine, after his little exclamation in court, his defense attorney has asked for a postponement because they need more time to prepare now. That postponement was granted, even though prosecutors didn't think that was so fair. But, I mean, he said he did it in court. But then he said the video that he put up on Facebook of him doing it was AI generated. What does it even mean? What does anything mean anymore? I don't know why it would matter, considering that he has admitted in open court that he did, in fact, commit this murder. And it's not like there's a big surprise about that because he's the one who posted the video. Anyway, just that was a very strange twist and a very bizarre way to, I don't know, try to defend himself. Is that what he thought he was doing? That the video is fake, but he did do it? I don't know, you guys. I'm flummoxed. Totally flummoxed. All right. Well, the next bizarre case we have comes out of Oregon. This is Michael Maiden. This super genius right here, Michael Maiden. Michael Maiden is accused of drugging his daughter's friends at a sleepover. So his daughter had 3 12-year-old friends for a sleepover last summer. Some of the girls have said that he seemed drunk that night. Also, he was very concerned about them drinking the smoothies he made them. So he made them smoothies and made sure that they drank them. And one of the girls actually said, this tastes weird, I don't want it. So he made her a new one, and then he made her drink that. The smoothies contained benzodiazepines. So obviously trying to sedate them, trying to kill them, put them to sleep to rape them. I don't even know. So he has been indicted now on 9 felony and misdemeanor charges that include causing another person to ingest a controlled substance. He has pled not guilty, and he did post a $50,000 bail last week. So this man is out on the street. That is very, very scary. So here's what the girls have to say. That he was really involved with their activities during the sleepover, checking in on them and like joining in their conversations and stuff, which I would say is a weird thing for a dad to do, a 12-year-old girl, you know. He took them to get their nails done and then picked up pizza on the way home. The girls said that they played in the sprinklers and got in the hot tub. And then they took showers and got ready for bed. And that's when the smoothies appeared, made by him. They were mango flavored, apparently. Some of them had tiny white chunks in them, like crushed up pills, maybe, and powder sprinkled on the top. And he was insistent that these girls drink them. And when one girl wouldn't drink it because it tasted weird, he made her another one. She didn't really drink much of it, though, which is probably good. He was upset that she didn't drink it and accused her of switching drinks with another girl. Like, he was way into this, drink these smoothies. So the girls all go to bed, but the girl that didn't drink her smoothie was pretending to be asleep, and that he kept coming in and checking on the girls and watching them. This is so gross and weird and bizarre and awful. This girl said that while she was still awake, and she was kind of cuddling with one of her friends, he moved her arm from the other friend's body and then separated them by moving her friend away from her. So at this point, this girl was like, something is wrong. And so she just made sure to stay awake because she was afraid that he was going to do something to her friend. He kept coming and going. And he would, she saw him put a finger under her nose to see if she was asleep or to see if she was breathing. I mean, what was the ultimate goal here? So at one point, he went upstairs and she started texting and calling her parents. and asking them to come pick her up. So one of the texts said, "Mom, please pick me up and say I had a family emergency." This is at 1:43 a.m. "I don't feel safe. I might not respond, but please come get me. Please, please pick up. Please, please." She also called and texted several friends to see if their parents could come pick her up. Because I think what was happening is that her parents weren't immediately answering because it was the middle of the night and they were asleep. So actually, one of the friends' moms is actually who showed up first. And she took this girl home. She woke up her parents. Her parents called all the other parents. And then he showed up again to check on them. She said at that point he seemed drunk, that he was murmuring and slurring, but he didn't try to stop her from leaving. The other girl's parents showed up about 3 a.m. And he told them he didn't understand what was going on or, why they were there. And that they could just come back in the morning because their daughters were asleep. And they said, no, we're taking them. So I guess, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure why the police weren't called, like right there, nor why they didn't go to the hospital immediately. But I guess the next day they did go to the hospital and the police talked with them. Apparently 12 hours after drinking the smoothies, one of the girls was still walking slowly and needing assistance for balance, and her eyelids were heavy. Like she was obviously drugged. She said that she remembered at one point she tried to get up but tipped over suddenly. And then she went into this really, really deep sleep. She told the police she was scared and just kept repeating in her mind what happened before they decided to go to the hospital because she just was not sure. So all of the girls tested, well, the 3 friends tested positive for benzodiazepines in their urine samples. So that's how they know what he used. There's no, his daughter was never tested. So we don't know if he drugged all of them or if it was just the friends. It is terrifying. 2 months after the incident, Maiden got divorced from his wife. I'm not sure where she was at the time of this incident, but I would imagine she's wondering what the hell is going on with him and what he's been doing with these girls. So we don't know totally what all the charges are yet. And we don't know totally exactly what's being alleged here other than he drugged these kids. It's really, really scary. Such a terrifying thing. And the one girl was really savvy to figure out that something was not right here and pay attention, which I think is great. Somebody really taught her well to pay close attention when somebody's acting weird, even an adult. So I hope these girls are okay. I hope that nothing terrible happened to them. We don't really know for sure if any of them were assaulted and thank God they all woke up. Scary. So bizarre, right? Well, here's another bizarre one. This we're talking about, and I don't have a picture of him because this is Utah and they don't publish their mugshots, but we're talking about Michael Austin Ford. Michael Austin Ford has been charged with the arson of school buses twice, once in 2022 and once in 2023. So here is an image of one of the school buses. What the hell, man? So it's believed he set school buses on fire from the inside on 2 occasions. In 2022, he was seen driving a school bus while it was on fire. He was employed by the Granite School District during both of these incidences. And one of the times that he lit the school bus on fire, there were children on board, which is absolutely terrifying. He had some kind of incendiary source, is what they're saying, so we don't really know what that means for sure. He's charged with 2 counts of arson of a vehicle of an organization receiving federal funds, which is kind of a weird way of trying to burn down a school bus with kids on it. But in February of 2022, he set a bus on fire with 42 students inside. This was in Salt Lake County in the Granite School District. So he was just driving, smoke billowing past his face. There's video of this. He stopped the bus because other people saw that the kids were seen and heard coughing and covering their faces and complaining about smoke. So he had lit a fire somewhere in the bus and then was just continuing to drive it while the kids were in the bus. And he didn't stop until he noticed that someone else noticed. So then in April 2023, he was driving a bus for Granite School District again. And he lit a fire on the bus while in traffic. We're not totally sure if there were kids on the bus that time or not. We know they were the first time. The second time, the school district has not said whether or not, because, how did they let this guy do this twice? I don't understand. But in October of 2023, an arson investigation was launched. His home and vehicle were damaged by a fire. This guy's freaking lighting fires everywhere. We don't know motive. Apparently, he has a history of other arson cases. Terrifying. He acknowledged to investigators when he was being interrogated that he was involved in 3 other bus fires in 2001, 2002. Between 2001 and 2002, one in 2016 and one in 2017. So he has pled guilty, and that's what we know at this point. As far as we know, no children were harmed, but somehow this guy got away with burning down 5 school buses over a 20-ish year period. This is terrifying. Also, holy shit, should this person not be around children? But what a bizarre crime. He's literally lighting the bus on fire while he's driving it. He's risking his own life. He's got a real thing for fire, obviously, but they somehow, him burning down his own house was enough for them to finally look at this and go, how did this possibly happen? I think the other 2 incidents must have been deemed accidents initially. But what the hell? You light a school bus on fire full of kids while you're in it and you're just driving down the road like nothing's happening? Is this a cartoon? Is this reality? I don't even know. Terrifying. And my last case. And I mentioned this in our live stream last night. So we're talking about these 4 individuals. These are not good pictures because we don't have good images of them yet. But these 4 people have been arrested in Long Island after body parts of 2 people have been found in different parks in Long Island, New York. So the 4 suspects are Stephen Brown, Jeffrey Mackey, Amanda Wallace, and Alexis Neves. Currently, they have been charged with concealment of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and hindering prosecution. Unfortunately, you can't charge someone with murder until you know for sure that someone was murdered. So the body parts that have been located have to be autopsied, and there's a whole process that has to happen before they can start considering murder charges. And they have to start looking at the physical evidence and, who may have actually killed these two individuals versus those who just helped dismember them. They were all released without bail because their charges are fairly small at the moment. They are on ankle monitors and they've had to give up their passports right now. The prosecution says they have very strong evidence, including in the home of 3 of them, cutting tools, meat cleavers, and video surveillance, and also blood. So the 2 individuals who have been found in Farmingdale and West Babylon in Bethpage State Park, as well as a wooded area in West Babylon, are of 2 individuals, and the authorities do believe they know who these 2 people are, but they're not releasing their identities right now. So last Thursday is when the first body parts were found. They didn't get found all at the same time, or obviously all in the same place. Last Thursday morning, a student walking to school found a severed left arm at Southard's Pond Park. Yikes. I don't want to find that when I'm walking to school. So they brought a cadaver dog in, and the cadaver dog found a leg and another arm. And later they also found a head, parts of a leg, and a third arm. I'm sure the third arm was a real eye-opener. Then they realized this is 2 people. So these 2 individuals at some point lived at the same address in Yonkers. And police believe that this is a love triangle gone awry. So what they're alleging is that the suspects, or one or more suspects, chopped up his girlfriend and the man that he believed she was cheating on him with. And then potentially so they think one person actually did the killing, and then other people helped dispose of the body parts, maybe helped cut them up. It's so bizarre to me that they've got 4 people involved in this and 2 bodies. So people in this community are pissed because due to bail reform that was passed in 2019, their current charges do not qualify for bail. So they could not hold them. And they're very concerned about, the bail reform is missing the mark in this particular situation. It's kind of scary to think that they are accused of, one or all of them murdered these people and chopped them up is what they think. So really scary, but they are being monitored by GPS, and they are autopsying the bodies to see if they can figure out how they died and what the hell happened. I just can't quite understand why they cut them up and put their body parts all over in these 2 places where people immediately found them. Like, what was the purpose of the dismembering and the spreading the body parts about the community? I mean, how bizarre is that? Like, they weren't exactly trying to hide the fact that these people were dead or that they had killed them. Were they just trying to wreak havoc and terror on these communities? Like, what was the reason for this? Because the body parts weren't really they weren't buried. And they were just, they weren't really all that hidden. They've located, I think, pretty close to everything of these two people now. I'm not 100% sure what may still be missing as far as just parts of their bodies, but it's the most bizarre crime. So bizarre. One of the men has a defense attorney who says that he's not involved at all, that he didn't do any of this. We'll see. I don't know. The rest of them, if they have attorneys, they have not spoken with the press. So we don't really know much other than they're just waiting on the autopsies to try to figure out what the hell happened. I'm sure there's a ton of forensics going on in that house on Amityville Road, too, where 3 of these individuals lived, and there's actual like physical evidence and the tools and blood and stuff. So obviously that's likely where the crime occurred and where the dismemberment occurred. But please tell me in the comments, why would they do it this way? You know, is this just drugs are bad? So strange to me when someone commits a heinous, heinous crime and then they choose to do things that make it very obvious that the crime has been committed. Like, this was not concealment. What was it? Anyway, those are my 4 bizarre stories for you. So, you know, hopefully no one else will have an AI-generated confession of a crime come up on Facebook. I don't know if this guy thought that was going to shed some doubt, except for the part where he told the judge he did it. So weird. What the hell is up with that guy in Oregon drugging his daughter's friends at a sleepover? Has he done this before? What other things has he done? Because in my book, that makes him a very scary person. And then we have our school bus arsonist in Utah. What the hell? Why would you light a school bus on fire while you're driving it down the road? I mean, he's not even like protecting his own life in that situation, let alone risking the lives of 42 students. You guys, humanity is not okay. So please pay attention to the people you're close to in your life. Make sure they're okay. Just check in on your friends and family, because I got to tell you, I'm concerned for us. That's what I have for you. We'll be back next week with all of our usual content. You know it. We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.